There is a huge energy challenge in Mali. Only 18% of rural areas have access to electricity. For the 30,000 inhabitants of the village of Konséguéla and its surroundings, located 50 kilometers from Koutiala in the Sikasso region, southeast of the country, the local economy is essentially depending on gas oil. Since 2008, the persistent supply problems and the volatility of fuel prices have driven 95% of mechanized millers out of business and compelled women to return to the use of the traditional pestle to transform cereals. In addition, the population must cope with the effects of climate change, which affect all the sub-Saharan region.
Our organization is a cooperative. There are 17 members. We're currently working on peanut paste processing. We used to cultivate groundnut ourselves, but the rainy season is not as good as it used to be, so now we have to buy the groundnut.
Since no real development is possible without a sustainable and affordable energy source that could support agricultural activities and the tertiary sector, the Altea project, managed by GERES, is meant to enable access to energy within these regions. To create new activities here, we definitely need electricity. No decent work is really possible without that kind of resource. Established in southern Mali since 2007, GERES, in partnership with the town of Konséguéla, has chosen to address this matter by creating an EAZ, Electrified Activity Zone, which is 100% powered by renewable energy sources.
Ce site a été dimensionné de sorte que les activités qui seront menées bénéficieront.
The dimensions of the site were defined so as to allow the local activities to benefit from a good power quality. Namely, thanks to the implementation of a solar field supported by a generator that our team of local technicians adapted so it could run on jatropha oil. So this energy is produced locally. It is entirely renewable. Located at the village entrance, this bioclimatic building will eventually welcome about 15 small companies that will provide the population with new products and services which had so far been difficult to find. The existence of the EAZ will allow the development of a great number of activities and benefit the whole population. The EAZ therefore addresses the specific needs of the local population who had until now been depending on Koutiala, the nearest electrified city, which, if you have a motorized vehicle, is 1 hour's drive away during the dry season. On a daily basis, the villagers are deprived from many services. The only goal concerning this area was to meet the concerns of the people of Konséguéla. These are real issues. People talk about bakeries, about freezers. Today we can see that bread and ice have to be transported over 50 kilometers to arrive in Konséguéla. I think that if these things are made locally, the EAZ is really going to work well and will last in time. Being based on an agro-pastoral economy, the region encounters difficulties relating to climate change. The cultivation of cotton, corn or millet is unfortunately subject to an increasingly uncertain rainy season. Here, most of the tasks therefore rely on physically demanding activities that make labor harder and productivity lower. But, as is often the case in Western Africa, nothing is insurmountable. Villages manage to adjust and work together with the means at their disposal, with the weekly market, for example, which gathers many service activities. We tried to cope with the local energy poverty on a daily basis. Some shopkeepers do their best to provide the villagers with basic necessities, even if a mere solar cell panel or an old generator can often only support so many economic activities.
The
scale of this installation was defined to enable a stable and well-adjusted power supply that can adequately fit the needs of local activities. Indeed, the EAZ quickly drew huge interest among the local residents. Reassured both by the reliability of the construction and by the technical performance of the arrangement, several actors could be identified and supported in the realization of their business establishment project.
Within the EAZ, we would love to develop ice, fruit juice and freshwater production activities, as well as soap manufacturing. We're confident in the good profitability of the project, since there aren't many similar activities in Konséguéla. We came up with the idea to create this activity just after the EAZ was implemented, namely thanks to the access to energy. We could never have considered starting an activity based on cooling and freezing without a stable electric power supply.
What convinced me were the building plans and the rental costs. It then seemed very interesting to set up my bakery within the EAZ. In addition to the cheap rental cost of the premises, what really helped making my decision and reassured me was the access to energy produced locally via the generator and solar panel. Aside from the energetic issue, the exchange of views about the EAZ has involved the community, the Nubian Volt Association and the local NGO AMED. Mainly consisting of local materials, the building will offer good working conditions, namely in terms of coolness. The Nubian Volt technique is now something I believe in. The bioclimatic nature of the building is definitely real. The change of climate is immediate as you enter. That really impressed me. The electrification of the activity area relies on a 100% local and renewable energy mix, namely solar energy, valued by photovoltaic panels and pure vegetable oil produced from the seeds of jatropha. The already existing pressing unit does not only provide a local fuel for the generator as a substitute for gas oil, but also supplies its oil to the millers of the village. Jatropha producers quickly learned to appreciate this technical solution. As producers, we have a particular interest in the business relationship that we can establish with the EAZ, namely through the sale of our jatropha seeds, which will be locally processed, and the opportunity to purchase the oil thus produced to operate our engines. We'll also be able to buy jatropha sediments to make soap, as well as seed cake to fertilize our crops. In addition, the existence of electrified artisanal activities will spare us long and costly journeys to Kutiala. So this is a real opportunity for us. Thanks to the access to a sustainable energy, the remote area of Konséguéla now has a practical and efficient tool to support the local economy and reduce poverty. This initiative has gained approval from several partners, such as the AMADER, Malian Agency for the Development of Household Energy and Rural Electrification, which, as its name indicates, works daily towards this goal.
My view is that this is a very interesting experiment, which will greatly stimulate activities in the village and its surroundings. Acquiring a clean energy source will allow the women of Konséguéla to reduce their working time, increase their family income, and also help the head of the family.
D'augmenter le revenu au sein de la famille, ce qui va forcément aider aussi le chef de famille.
And it will also help curb rural urban migration, as young people will have activities available in the village and might not as much be tempted by rural exodus.